Home is supposed to be the place where you feel safest, the space where you can be yourself, where fear doesn't exist, where love protects you. But for many people, home was, or still is, the place where they learned to stay silent, to be afraid, to hide, to survive. Because yes, there are homes where love hurts, where laughter sounds fake, and where silence becomes a form of refuge. Growing up or living in a violent household leaves wounds that no one can see, but that you feel every day. You feel them when someone raises their voice, when you hear a door slam, when someone gets angry and your body freezes before you even understand why. That's your body remembering what your mind tried to forget. Family violence doesn't always look like hitting or yelling. Sometimes it wears the disguise of sarcasm, humiliation, control, or indifference. Sometimes it lives in the look that cuts deeper than words, in the silence that punishes, in the gestures that make you feel invisible. Growing up in that kind of environment teaches you lessons that later turn into beliefs, that love must be earned, that peace depends on you, that to be loved, you must please, yield, and stay quiet. And without realizing it, you carry those lessons into every relationship that follows. The invisible wounds left by family violence don't only affect your emotions, they shape your identity. They make you feel inadequate, guilty, never enough. Trust becomes difficult because you learned that trust is dangerous. Setting boundaries feels impossible because as a child, every boundary came with consequences. Relaxing feels unsafe because your nervous system learned that calm moments were just the pause before the next explosion. That's why so many adults who grew up in violent homes live in constant alertness, waiting for something bad to happen, even when everything seems fine. It's not because they're broken, it's because their body learned to survive. You learned to analyze every tone, every look, every shift in mood from your parents or partner, trying to predict danger before it came. You learned to read the room as if your life depended on it, because in a way, it did. But the defense mechanisms that once protected you now exhaust you. They keep you tense, disconnected, always waiting for a threat that no longer exists. And the hardest part is that sometimes you don't even recognize that what you lived through was violence because it was all you ever knew. Many children grow up believing that what happens at home is normal, that shouting, humiliation, or neglect are just part of family life, that this is how love is shown, because no one ever taught them otherwise. And when those children become adults, they often repeat what they saw or seek what feels familiar, not because they want to, but because their brain confuses pain with love, fear with belonging, and control with safety. Healing from family violence doesn't mean hating the people who hurt you. It means understanding that you deserve something different. It means learning to tell the difference between love and control, between care and dependency, between company and submission. It means realizing that you don't have to carry other people's emotions in order to be loved. Maybe you grew up hearing things like, "You're the one who causes problems. Don't say anything or it'll get worse. Be patient, it's your family." And without realizing it, you became someone who minimizes their pain, who justifies the unjustifiable, who learns to stay even when it hurts. But I want you to hear this clearly. There is no justification for violence, no matter who it comes from. There is no love worth your fear. Family violence doesn't always scream. Sometimes it hides behind discipline, authority, or tradition. Sometimes it's passed from generation to generation, like an invisible inheritance. And that's where you must choose to break the pattern. Because if you don't, someone else will suffer what you've been carrying in silence. Healing doesn't mean betraying your family. It means choosing not to repeat the story. Healing means learning to set boundaries without feeling guilty. It means realizing you can love someone and still not allow them to hurt you. It means giving yourself permission to rebuild. That process doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes it takes years to even recognize what you lived through. Sometimes you need help, a therapist, a support system, because healing isn't just about forgiveness or letting go. It's about retraining your mind and body to feel safe again. The trauma of family violence doesn't fade with time. It heals with awareness, patience, and self-compassion. It heals when you stop saying, "That's just how I am," and start saying, "That's how I learned to be, but I can change." Because you can. You are not doomed to repeat what you lived through. You can build a different home. A home where love doesn't hurt, where words don't wound, where silence means peace, not fear. People may not understand why it's hard for you to trust, why you need control, why certain tones of voice hurt so much, but you know what you lived through. And recognizing it is the first step toward freedom. You don't have to forgive right away. You don't have to reconcile with everyone. You only need to start healing the most important person in this story, you. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. Healing means remembering without pain. It means looking back and understanding that the child who lived in fear deserved tenderness, not judgment. That the adult searching for love and calm is doing their best. And that even though home hurt, you can create a new one inside yourself. One where peace is the norm, not the exception. Because in the end, home isn't always a place. Sometimes home is you, when you treat yourself with the love you always needed.